Previously mentioned, the smoke, particularly from Building 2, just before it collapsed, was very black looking. This is
I just lost a 8200 lens.
Oh,
yeah.
What the hell did I hit?
Right. Another close.
I don't. EMS staging is it?
I just lost a 8200 lens.
Oh,
yeah.
What the hell did I hit?
Right. Another close.
EMS staging is it?
1125 and it's black as night. Well, this is the worst I've ever seen.
That's what's left of it?
Yep.
One tower?
Are you saying that planes didn't fly into the building, or that our government knew they were going to fly into the building?
They either knew, they either participated, or the biggest buffoons that ever ran our country. It's one or the other.
Well, why is it that no one ever thought of storming a cockpit with a box cutter and threatening a pilot? I mean, just no one that had ever done that before. Is that outlandish?
Well, let's go to document 4.
Melt down and dispose of 499,850 pieces of structural steel that could have proved the temperature the steel had reached, and the use of the use
47, where the government talks about Building 7 and admits it went down in free fall. Well, free fall means it was demoed. That's just another word because it defies physics. the only way a building can fall in free fall is to remove all resistance.
Governor, I was there.
And so therefore, all resistance
I watched the
removed.
plane fly into the building. The second plane.
No,
fly into the
Building
building.
7 didn't have a plane.
Allow me to finish. I watched the buildings burn for 104 minutes. I watched them come down, Governor, and I waited, and we waited, and everyone wanted to know what was going to happen with Building 7. Everyone down there, we were all down there wondering, is 7 coming down? There was a rumor that the Brooks Brothers building was going to come down too. If you know anything about the World Trade Center, underneath the World Trade Center was cavernous. It was a mall. You could walk literally between all the buildings. So when the pile came down, it took the structural integrity out of the bottom of 7 and
deal that I found in the North Tower. It was down around basement 4. There was 6 levels of the World Trade Center, and it was just found out later on that that's where the jet fuel had run down, and that one section of the box beam was melted like stalactites and stalagmites. So it was tremendous heat that melted these big, huge box beams, where the steel was just dripping onto each other and stacking up. So I snapped a piece of it off just to show other people how hot the World Trade Center site was.
He got off the boat in Lower Manhattan.
There were bodies and body parts all over the place. I can't even count. Not, cops, firemen, EMS, anybody that was in the building when it blew up. It's something I'll never forget.
Secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
What is important to remember is what Chief Turry said and what he didn't say. What he said was that he thought he heard secondary explosions in the building prior to the collapse. What he didn't say was that he heard bombs.
What happened was I was down in the basement. All of a sudden we heard a loud bang. And the elevator doors blew open. Some guy was burnt up. So I dragged him out. His skin was all hanging off. So I dragged him out and I pulled him out of the parking lot. This was what was left on it. Pulled him out. When I pulled him out, I looked up and the second bomb blew off. Just saw a burst, a big burst. And then I saw people jumping out of the buildings.
I was out here. I was out here. I heard 2 explosions. What are the lights? Did a plane hit that? Plane. I heard 2 explosions. 2 separate ones. Small jet. How the hell is it trying so?
I am going to attempt to show this as a video file by scrubbing over the timeline and showing the appearance of new objects. If anyone knows of any other Red Blob videos and photos, please let me know.
Previously mentioned, the smoke, particularly from Building 2, just before it collapsed, was very black looking. This is generally
Hey, so I work at a very prestigious hospital. I ran into someone who was under a little sedation and spilled a lot of info. Let's just say he has blood ties to some very prominent figures. If you want, you can call me. Separate instances. Info about 9/11 and cancer research using nanotechnology. Let's just say his wife's bloodline rhymes with the name Megan. This gentleman was the consultant on the Star Wars project. Yes, I'll never forget it. Dude was part of the Reagan administration. He mentioned thermite explosives. He also spoke about nanotechnology being used to cure cancer. Dude said a lot more. He was obviously under the effects of painkillers, so stuff was defiantly flying out. I didn't want to write anything down. This guy worked on the Star Wars project when Reagan was in office. He went on to say the planes were flown into the towers and there was thermite on board the planes.
I am going to attempt to show this as a video file by scrubbing over the timeline and showing the appearance of new objects. If anyone knows of any other red blob videos and photos, please let me know.
Previously mentioned, the smoke, particularly from building 2 just before it collapsed, was very black looking. This is generally